All right. Every couple of weeks or so, we like to take a look at education and different things that are happening thanks to our Inner Circle sponsor, Michigan Virtual. I want to say hi to Janine Scott, a master teacher of mathematics for Davis Aerospace Technical High School, who was honored as a Regional Teacher of the Year representing the city of Detroit. She's a math teacher who's passionate about challenging stereotypes about who or isn't good at math. Hi, Janine. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you today?
Great. So you were an engineer before you became a math teacher. Tell us about that journey quickly.
Well, so I have always wanted to be a teacher ever since I could remember, a teacher or a nurse. And then I broke my arm in the fifth grade and saw a little blood and said, nursing is out. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had always, through elementary school, been the teacher's pet, the teacher's helper, tutored other students, did all these things. But I believe I was so good in math and science that my teachers, when I got to high school, said, you should go into engineering. And my brother was in engineering at Michigan State. And so I went into engineering and never really gave up the desire to teach. But by the time I realized 3.5 years into engineering school that I wanted to be a teacher and went over to the College of Ed, they basically told me you'd have another 2.5, 3 years of school, and then we'd pay you a whopping $22,000. And that was when I had made probably half of that over the summer as an engineering major and
Yeah, so you
intern.
decided to graduate with the engineering thing and stay with that for a little while.
Yep. And so
Yeah.
I was an engineer for a while, got really sick, was in the hospital, and was like, oh my gosh, I never became a teacher and I might not make it out alive. And during my course of being an engineer, I went ahead and got my master's in education just in case one day I became a teacher. And so when I said a little prayer to God while I was in the hospital and said, if I make it out alive, help me become a teacher. And I
Wow.
made it out alive and I'm a teacher. Best
Wow.
job, hardest job I have ever had in my life. And I love it.
Well, math, of course, is one of those things like, going to the dentist for people who aren't good at it. But you challenge what you call a stereotype threat of is or isn't good at math. Explain what that is.
So a stereotype threat is really just falling into the narrative of a stereotype, and therefore it limits you and it limits what you can do. And so with math, a lot of people go, oh, I got that honest. I'm not good with math. I disagree almost all the time. Math is really thinking skills. And so if you can think and you can logically think step by step by step, then you have math skills. And so a lot of times people don't understand what math is. They think math is adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. That's the very least of math. Math is the process of understanding that there's something called adding or subtracting or multiplying or dividing, figuring out which way to turn, figuring out what to do. And a lot of times our kids, especially our kids of color and our poor kids, are not led to believe that they can do the thinking skills or you do the math, which is really thinking skills. And so in my classroom, when I talk to my students, I always talk to them about you're a straight mathematician, you're good at sports. You're a mathematician, you're good at music. Because if you can think and walk at the same time, you have skills.
Wow.
And so that allows them to understand what mathematics really is, which is thinking.
Well, I got to tell you, you're good at what you do because you're the first person who's actually made me want to go and take a math class in about 40 years. So congratulations to you and the work that you do, Janine, and thanks for spending a couple minutes with us. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Janine Scott is the master teacher of mathematics for the Davis Aerospace Technical High School. I probably couldn't get into the Davis Aerospace Technical High School, but if I could,
I can't say it.
if I could, I want to take a class with Janine Scott. Michigan Virtual, leading and collaborating to build learning environments for tomorrow.